Ladies and gentlemen, our top story this morning. It has been 74 days since a fire broke out at 30 Tughlaq Crescent on Tughlaq Road in Delhi. The official bungalow of the then Delhi High Court Judge, Justice Yashwant Verma. It took almost a week for the first details of the incident to emerge and another few days for the actual pictures to come to light. While the fires were doused almost immediately, it is what emerged from the ruins that shook the country's conscience. Pictures of piles and piles of cash that lay burnt and half burnt. As the government mulls impeachment of Justice Verma, with the process likely to start as early as in the upcoming monsoon session, Times now unravels the truth. Truth that has been established after a 33-day-long investigation by the three-judge panel constituted by the Supreme Court. After examining 55 witnesses, the truth has been chronicled in black and white in a 64-page report. Now, this report, which has been accessed by Times Now, is currently with the President of India, submitted by the Chief Justice of India. Let's now break down the details of this particular report. What did the three-member inquiry committee sought to probe? The three questions that Justice Verma was asked were: explain the presence of cash, explain the source of cash, and explain the removal of cash. Now, let's take a look at the contentions that were made. Justice Verma said no cash or currency was found at the site. But this has been firmly refuted by recording made both by the fire and police officials on the spot. The next claim has been that nothing was removed from the storeroom. Well, according to the probe report, evidence suggests debris and burnt articles were indeed removed. Justice Verma has even denied that his staff or family saw any cash, but the panel refused to trust this version of the domestic staff and family, citing their long-time association with Justice Verma, saying that they are unlikely to contradict him. Now, talking of the family, Justice Verma's daughter, Dia, had said that the cash video could have been from any other location. However, a forensic probe has verified the authenticity of this video. The location, the time, everything has been established. And now, the most damning part of this probe report, ladies and gentlemen, the video which was shot by one of the first responders on the intervening night of the 14th and 15th of March showed that Justice Verma's staff was present at the fire site where half-burnt cash lay. Watch this before we break down the significance of the video.
महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही है भाई। 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 महात्मा गांधी में आग लग रही है भाई।
Now, the man who is calling for Rahil is R.S. Karki, Justice Verma's private secretary, while Mohammad Rahil is Justice Verma's domestic staff. In their examination, R.S. Karki admitted it's his voice and that Mohammad Rahil also initially conceded that he was the one being called. However, he later changed his statement. What this establishes, remember, is that Justice Verma's staff was very much present at the spot, debunking Justice Verma's claim that his staff had no knowledge of any burnt cash. My colleagues Priyank and Bhavtosh are with me on the broadcast to get us an understanding of what we have been getting for you viewers. Bhavtosh, to you first. These are explosive claims that have been made, and now, of course, them being rebutted in this particular report that has been submitted to the President. What more details do you have?
This report has been accessed by our group editor, Navika Kumar. What it establishes is one thing which is very clear, that the cash, both burned and unburned, allegedly belongs to Justice Verma. Justice Verma, when he was asked about this fact by the then Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, he said that findings are perverse and also completely unfair, and he refused to, in fact, submit his resignation or take a voluntary retirement. The report further establishes is that forensically and electronically or through CDR, it has been established that his private secretary as well as his domestic help were present, and his daughters claim that the video has been planted at the spot is completely untrue. This has been established forensically, primarily because of the fact that his domestic help, Rahil, was present at that point of time. There were several individuals who had deposed before the inquiry committee, which was headed by the senior most judges of the country. Is two things. One, that there was a PCR call that was made, also a call to the fire department. The commissioner of the Delhi police had deposed. They were cross-examined, as well as the fire chief had deposed. All of them concur to one thing, that nothing was planted at the spot, and the access to the outhouse were completely controlled by the Chief Justice's family or very close staff members.
Right, Bhavtosh and Priyank, stay with me. We're also getting more and more details of what we have been able to, get in terms of the information that this particular report has. Let's also get you viewers what the panel had concluded. That cash was indeed found in Justice Verma's storeroom, that the access to the storeroom was in active control of the judge and his family, and burnt cash was indeed removed from the site of fire. The committee has also recommended initiation of proceedings for removal of Justice Verma. Now remember, after this report was submitted to the CGI on the 3rd of May, he wrote to Justice Verma the very next day, giving him the option to either resign or take voluntary retirement. However, 2 days later, Justice Verma responded, calling the findings perverse and the probe unfair. But does Justice Verma have any evidence to back his arguments? It doesn't look like it. He has contended that the storeroom is under CCTV scrutiny, but hasn't produced any footage to corroborate his claims that the money was planted and outsider could have been involved in this entire thing. Let me go across to my colleague Priyank. Priyank, these are of course contradictory claims that Justice Verma is making. Visuals, evidence completely refute what he has been saying. What does it mean now for Justice Verma, considering the fact that impeachment motion is also being planned against him?
Yeah, Satish, every step of the statement which came out from Justice Verma in his defense in the initial stage and later to that when he deposed before the three judges panel has been discredited by the inquiry report, which is suggesting that there was no outsider entry, which was apparently claimed by Justice Verma by saying that there has been a conspiracy against me. The committee report is also pointing towards that the access to the storeroom was only allowed to the family members of Justice Verma, not even to the staff. When the station house officer of Tughlaq police station recorded this statement before the committee, he also said that a cash pile of approximately 1.5 feet of height, starting from one side of the room to the other side of the room, was found by this particular location. At this moment, what we can certainly tell you to our viewers, that every piece of this report, the 75 pages report detail which we have managed to access, is clearly pointing towards that how there was false information which was provided to the committee, which has led to this impeachment move, which will come out from the government side in the upcoming monsoon session. But the calls were starting growing up that why no FIR? The legal luminaries have been certainly suggesting that it was a very much needed attempt, but because of the protection which is being given to judges and the governor, the FIR could not have been filed. But his impeachment is the next step coming up, which we can certainly see after looking at the details of the report.
Absolutely. Priyank and Bhavtosh, I'll keep coming back to you for the latest in this entire case. Thanks very much for joining us at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also getting